Dr Emilia Vuorisalmi, here next to me here, is a medical doctor, actress, entrepreneur and the author of The Healing Power of Hormones. Known for her pioneering work in the science of love, stress and well-being, she explores how hormonal balance shapes our emotions and behaviours. In her keynote, Why Everyone is Talking About Dopamine, Emilia unpacks the hype around the brain's reward system and explores sauna's impact on the neurotransmitters critical to our motivation, well-being and happiness. Over to you, Emilia.
Whoa, that sounds a lot. So good to be here, dear fellow sauna lovers. So I am Emilia Vuorisalmi, a Finnish medical doctor. I'm called also the Nordic Love Doctor. And today we are going to talk about what love has to do with sauna. Let me start with shh, the sound of shh. Because as I think, for us Finns, this sound has a very particular meaning. It feels safety. As sauna has been the place where we go when we are tired, when we are anxious, when we are stressed. We do go there also when we are happy, when we want to celebrate. But I think sauna has been the one single place after the war, after the fights, after everything that happens in life, where we truly feel safe and we can relax. I must say, I did yesterday a little calculation, and I think I have spent in sauna 4,000 minutes, around 4,000 minutes before I was born. So that's very typical of Finnish. There's no pictures because sauna is one of the few places where we don't take cameras or phones. We just go there to be present. Look at my dad's muscles, by the way. Sauna is also the epicenter of our homes. There's 3 pictures, actually. There's 2 of my 5 saunas. We have actually 5 saunas if I count altogether my fiancé's and my saunas. And as you see in the first picture, you can see the dining table from the sauna. And in the second picture, it's actually the same sauna as in the third picture. You see that people gather in front of the sauna, and you could actually there again see the dining table from the sauna. That's my daughter having her friends gathering around the midsummer in the sauna, and then after sauna having dinner. The amount of safety, or I would say the safety that it's embedded in the Finnish DNA when it comes to sauna, it's so safe that I must tell this story. I was 7 years old, and I was in the sauna with my 5-year-old brother. This is without parents, very typical Finnish, won't recommend to UK people. And my little brother was throwing so much water to the sauna that it was getting very hot, and I wanted to get out. But because this sauna is almost 200 years old, also the Presidentti Kekkonen, famous Finnish president, has used it. So the door was so heavy that I couldn't get out. So I panicked and I jumped out one of those little tiny squares. And I was covered with blood. I got 7 stitches. And I still love sauna. It didn't change a thing. So, sorry. I can't go back. Okay. Okay, this is once a printer, always a printer. But the one thing about sauna is that we don't have any rules. These days, we love to talk about the telomeres, the heat shock proteins, how many minutes you have to be in sauna. But we Finns, we never count, as Jukka said, minutes. We just use our intuition. And I must say that I've been studying love hormones. I used to be actually a love addict myself. So I was in a very unbalanced state 15 years ago. And it was after a huge heartbreak. So that made me think that if love can hurt this much and make me this sick, love has to be able to heal me. So I started studying love. And I noticed that there's a particular phase in love, the attachment phase. Basically when you are already in a happy relationship, not the crazy high phase of the start. And I felt that I can't really get there. As a love addict, I just couldn't. It was like 2 months or a year maximum. So my question was like, how could you get there without a relationship? And I realized that there's 3 key hormones in that state that are in a nice sustainable balance: dopamine, serotonin, and oxytocin. And interestingly, sauna stimulates all of these hormones. So now, during the past years, I've been thinking that actually the deep healing power of sauna might be that if we're doing it right, it takes us to the state of love. But let me explain a little bit, or tell a little bit about each hormone. So, these hormones have been hugely trending during the past years. Everybody probably knows dopamine, yeah? So usually dopamine these days it's thought as a molecule of motivation and reward. It's the molecule that makes us wake up and go to the coffee machine. It's basically behind every step we take. But according to my research and studies and combining ancient wisdom with the latest science, I see dopamine actually as the hormone of our direction. As I noticed that when I was struggling with my dopamine levels and I was, almost like hypomanic, lack of focus, rumination, all kinds of symptoms, and the story that I was telling was that I had lost the love of my life. But the truth was that I was lost the direction of my life. So that's why my dopamine levels weren't flowing in a sustainable way. So the question we can all ask if we want to kind of listen to the deeper wisdom of dopamine is, whose path am I walking? As 10 years ago, I realized that I was still walking on my parents' path. I was dressed as a doctor since I was a little kid. I kind of was brainwashed that that would be a super cool profession. But then I noticed that I actually didn't like most of the stuff that doctors do. I was inspired by George Clooney, so I wanted to be a surgeon. But then I realized that I don't like to be alone, and I don't actually like to do stuff with my hands. I like to be on the stage and speak and, act and do fun stuff. Well, he's actually an actor. I kind of got that wrong. So I needed to do those shifties in my life and start doing stuff that brings me pure joy, and that eventually led me back to my path of purpose. So I would ask you guys all think, are you walking on your path, and what kind of steps could you take towards your true path? And in sauna, that is the time for us Finns to actually stop, pause, and ask these questions. The other hormone, serotonin, is dopamine's counterpart. Dopamine is basically the gas pedal, so serotonin is the brakes. And I used to think that dopamine is the cool hormone and serotonin is kind of the boring hormone, but now I totally disagree. As I was dismissing my serotonin levels, so my dopamine levels were taking over, and it wasn't good. I was kind of pushing, flying around the world, but things weren't still happening. So when I started to respect my serotonin levels, things started to work magically, and kind of the feeling of ease entered my life. So if dopamine is the hormone of direction, what is serotonin then? It is the hormone of safety. And as I started my speech today, sauna is the place where we Finns feel safe. I think sauna is most likely the place where we have been able to heal the transgenerational trauma caused by war. Because as we spend 30 minutes in a place where we truly feel safe, it really modulates our nervous system and our brain. Sorry. So the third hormone, oxytocin, it's often called the love hormone, but all these hormones work together. Many of you might know that it's a hormone that breastfeeding stimulates, touch stimulates, heat, sauna stimulates it. But I must say that when I was unbalanced, I was doing all the boosting that is hugely trending, but it wasn't really helping me. I was having massages, I was doing hot baths. And the reason was that I have named now oxytocin as the hormone of connection. Because what I had lost when I was balanced was actually the connection to myself. So that's why I couldn't connect with other people. I was being a pretty shitty doctor because healing patients, it's all about connection and creating that place. So also, to be able to get the full benefits of sauna, we should be connected to ourselves. And vice versa. Sauna is an amazing opportunity to connect better with ourselves. Because we do have that heat helping the oxytocin flow, but we also have the stillness to hear what's behind our own thoughts. And these are the things we Finns do pretty naturally. As when we start measuring, counting, following protocols, we kind of go wrong. I feel that there's a big chance that what's happening with sauna, it's a little bit similar to what the Americans did to yoga. So the world is doing now to sauna. So we should remember, this is kind of, that when we go to sweat, we should let go and just belong. We should let the heat soften the edges. We should let the steam speak its wisdom. And we should let the stillness rise when it's ready to rise. And that is the deep power of sauna. Thank you. Thank you. And if you're interested, my latest book, The Healing Power of Hormones, was published this February here in UK by Penguin Random House. So I'm happy to sign books after this outside. Thanks.